asking me what is the output of it. Okay, whatever that you have given, I have taken it as a program.c file here. So this is what you're asking for actually. A equal to 10, B equal to 7, and a loop is running from 1 to 5 exactly, and there are certain operations happening in between. So you're asking me what is the exact output of this particular particular this program. So for that, what we will be doing is we'll be just starting with the line by line process of this file. Now we will just do the line by line process so that you easily I can able to make you understand. So see, this code we are going to just predict the output. Okay, predict the output. Okay, so fine. Now starting with the first line, we have taken two variables called as A and B. So we're going to execute line number 4. Okay, we are going to execute line number 4 where A is equal to 10, B equal to 7. And now we are just going to start with a loop, for loop, which is going to start with I equal to 1 and it will go up to I 5. Let us start I equal to 1, right? So I we have declared, let us start. Okay, so we entered into the loop where now the I value is equal to 1 and now A equal to A plus IB. So what is A plus IB? A 10, I is 1 and B is 7. So adding all these three values, it is going to be 18. So after this line is executed, A value will become 18. Can you able to see here? A becomes 18. Okay. Now there is one more loop called while A greater than 6. This loop will keep on be running. So what is A here? 18. A is 18. So what will happen? This loop will keep on running when A is greater than 6. I think 18 is greater than 6. So this is going to keep on running up to that. Okay. So because of the condition is true, we enter inside. A equal to A plus B. What is A? 18. What is B? 7. So adding both these things, what we will get? 25. So the new value of A will be equal to 25. Okay. So see here, the new value of A is equal to 25. Then we are decrementing our B value. So I'm going to decrement my B value. So B becomes 6. And also A is decremented. So A will become 24. Again, the condition is true because 24 greater than 6 is true. So again, I will continue. A is equal to A plus B, which is 24 plus 6, 30. New value of A is 30. B is decremented by 1. So it becomes 5. A decremented by 1, it becomes 29. So similarly, again A plus B, 29 plus 5, it will become 34. A will become 34. B will be decremented, which means from 5 it will become 4. Okay, 5 to 4. Then A also will be decremented. So from 34 it will become 33. Again the condition is true because 33 greater than 6, the condition is true. Again we will enter inside. What is A plus B? 33 plus 4 is 37. Okay, A becomes 37. B decremented, B becomes 3. A decremented, A becomes 36. Again let us start. Okay, again let us start. A is greater than 6. Okay, so A equal to A plus B, B equal to B minus 1, A. Again we will execute all these three. So I'm not going to again repeat. So you just, I will show you. See, just look at this left section on variables. You just keep track of all the variables now. Okay, we will just keep track of it. B equal to B minus 1, A equal to A minus 1. You can able see every line executed. What is the change happening here? You just look at it. Okay. So the condition is true. Enter inside. A equal to A plus B. Okay, 40. B equal to B minus 1. Okay, B becomes 1. A equal to A minus 1. A becomes 39. Now enter inside. 39 plus 1 becomes 40. A becomes 40. B decremented by 1 becomes 0. Then again A decremented by 1 becomes 39. Again we will enter. A plus B is 39 plus 0, again 39. B decremented minus 1, A decremented 38. Now see, so far A was still on the increasing phase. Now only A started decrementing. Okay, so now we will come to an end. Okay, sure. So you just keep on executing these three lines. Now you see if the present A value is 33, B value is minus 3. Enter inside. 33 minus 3 will be 30. New value of A 30, and B decremented by 1 you becomes minus 4. A decremented by 1 minus 29. Enter inside. 29 minus 4 will be 25. Then 25, then B will be decremented by 1, so it becomes minus 5. And then it will become 24. and then again we start from condition. So again still a is greater than 6, so we will just continue. A equal to a plus b, which is 25 minus 24 minus 5 will be 19. Okay, so 19, then b decremented to become minus 6, a decremented to become 18. Again condition true, we will enter inside. 18 minus 6, 12. 12 I mean b minus 1, so b becomes minus 7, a becomes 11. Now again condition true, a plus a 11 minus 7 will be equal to 4, then b decremented minus 8 and a decremented 3. Okay, now I think the condition has fallen. A has fallen. A is not greater than 6. Now the present a is not greater than 6. 3 greater than 6 is a false condition. So we will stop and we will come outside. And now what is the a value? A value is 3. A value is 3. So first thing that will get printed is a will be printed. Okay, a will be printed. And now the next thing is we will now go for, after this complete thing is over, we will again go for loop and we will increment it by 1. So again we will go. Now you see here your I is incremented to 2. Now a equal to a plus I plus b. A is equal to 3. 3 plus 2, 5. 5 minus 8. Okay, 5 minus 8, I think it's going to be minus 3. A is going to be minus 3. That condition is, while condition is false. So come out of while and print minus 3. The next value is minus 3. So far what is printed? So far 3 is printed and minus 3 is printed. And now we will again now increment our I. I incremented, I becomes 3. Now what is a plus I plus b? 3 minus 3, 0. 0 minus 8, minus 8. So a becomes minus 8. Where a value, this while condition is absolutely false. Come out, print minus 8. So the next value that you will be printing is minus 8. Increment your I value, where I will become 4. Then you take this 4, a equal to minus 8, 4, I equal to 4. So minus 8 plus 4 will be minus 4. Minus 4 minus 8 will be minus 12. So minus 12 definitely greater than 6 is not a true condition. So while loop you will not enter. Come out. Present a value is 12. So you need to print your 12. So after minus 8 you will be printing minus 12. Okay. Then again what you have to do is, again you have to just proceed inside. I will become 5 finally. The final value of I equal to 5. Now what is your a plus I plus b? A minus 12 minus b minus 8, totally minus 20. Minus 20 plus 5 is minus 15. So a equal to minus 15, which is condition false. So come out and print minus 15. That's it. So the output of this snippet is going to be 3 minus 3 minus 8 minus 12 and minus 15 is the right answer. I think that is there, absolutely there in your option. I think so. Yes. I think the last option that you have given me, right? 3 minus 3 minus 8 minus 12 and minus 15. That last option that you have sent me is the right option. Okay, that's the right answer. Fine. Everybody is asking for test 4 solutions. Okay, everybody is asking for test 4 solutions. Just give me some time. Let me open test 4. Okay, just give me some time. Let me open test 4. Just give me, yeah, fine. So this is test number 4 actually. This is test number 4. Okay, fine. So this is first question of test number 4 actually. Okay, so in 1 hour of time, how many questions that we can actually cover? That many questions that we are going to do actually. So see, it is going to be let A comma B comma C comma D comma E be sorted sequences. Sorted sequences means you have 5 different sorted arrays. You have 5 different sorted array called as A, B, C, D, E. And every sorted sequence length is first array length is 20, second array length is 24, third array length is 30, and the next array length is 35, and the next array length is 50. Okay, I'll just tell you first of all, if you want to merge 2 arrays, okay, if you want to merge 2 arrays, see, I'm just taking 2 arrays. One array is going to be of size 5. The other array is going to be of size 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, this array is of size 5 and this array is of size 7. So when you have 2 sorted array, one sorted array is of length 5 and the other sorted array is of length 7. When you want to merge these two, see, merging is a process where 2 sorted arrays have to be combined together to form a new sorted array. 5 elements, which is the 5 sorted elements from first array and 7 sorted elements from second array have to be merged together, and you have to form a new array which is of size 12, 7 plus 5, 12. And this in the resultant array which is having size 12, all the 12 elements have to be in sorted order. So 2 sorted arrays are combined together to give a new sorted array is what called as the process of merging. So let me tell you the normal process how you merges that. For example, I will just take 2, 5, 9, 12, 15. It's in sorted order. Now let me take 3, 7, 10, 13, okay, 14, 15, so 16. Okay, we'll go with 16. Then we'll go with 17. Okay, if these are the numbers available. So what you have to do first of all, if you want to merge all the, see, worst case, they're asking in worst case. If you want to merge these two, what you have to do, first of all, you will take the first 0th element of both the arrays. Whichever is the lesser element, you will take it in the 0th index. So what I am telling is that if you want to take 2 arrays and you have to merge this, the minimum time I will tell you, the efficient way is you have to access all the elements and you have to check whether the element which one is minimum have to be placed in the new array. So you have to traverse over all the elements of the array first of all. So I would say that, okay, you have to first of all compare 2 and 3. Then you decide 2 is the minimum, so you place 2 here. Then after that you compare 5 and 3. 3 is the minimum, so you place 3 here. Then you compare 5 and 7. 5 is minimum, you place 5. Then you check 9 and 7. 7 is minimum, 7 we will keep it here. Then you will place okay, 7. Okay, then you place 9 and you check 9 and 10 where you place 9. Then you place then you check 9 and say, then you check 12 and 10 where you will place 10 as a minimum. Then you will check 12 and 13 where 12 will be coming. Then you check 13 and 15 where 13. Then you check 14 and 15 where 14 is here. Then you will check 15 and 16 where 15 is a minimum. Then you will check 16. Then only remaining 2 elements will be there. Then 16 and 17 you will be filling. So what I would suggest is that a total of 5 plus 7 elements you have to be totally, you have to be, 5 plus 7. Totally you have to be like checking for 12 times, maximum of 12 comparisons, definitely. Okay, maximum of all the elements you have to actually visit, maximum all the elements you will be actually visiting. Okay, so I would say that the maximum 12 between a array having 5 elements and array having 7 elements. Here what you have taken is, you have taken an array first of all of 20 and then 24. So when you merge both these things, the array will become size 44 and totally 44 comparisons also you should have made. Okay, I'll just a little bit just change the font size of it. So first of all, taking your first two things. Okay, first 20 and 24. Okay, 1 minute. First taking 20 and 24, you will be merging it to give a 44 array of size 44, and totally for merging 5 and 7 it is taking 12. So for merging 20 and 24 it will be taking 44. Okay, fine. Next, you have to take this merged array 44 and you have to combine it with the next, you have to merge it with the next element, next sequence of size 30. So when you merge it with 30, 44 and 30 together, so 44 plus 30, the resultant array length will be equal to 74. And now for merging 44 and 30, you require 74 actually comparison. So 44 plus 74 together now. 44 plus 74 together. Next one. After this, you have an array of size 74. And the new array that you are going to merge with this is the next array, which is of size 35. So along with 74, you will be adding 35, which will total equal to 109. So the new array length is 109. If the new array length is 109, then 109 comparisons you should have made. So 44 plus 74 plus 109. Okay. Now with this 109 array, the next one is 50. So with 109, you have to take this 50 and the resultant array size will be 159. So there will be additional of 159 comparisons also should have happened. So 159 comparisons on the other hand. Now taking this, we'll go with calculator. So taking 44 plus 74 plus 109, then plus it is going to be 159 equal to 386. Is there any option with 3? No, there is no option 386. There is option 358. Okay, have we done this process clearly? How many comparisons are needed in worst case by the optimal algorithm? Okay, fine. 1 minute, guys, 1 minute. Just 1 minute. I'll just cross verify whether the options given are also okay. One minute, students, 1 minute. Okay, fine. See guys, exactly, if you see, I'll tell you the exact comparison that can be performed. Okay, it is going to be n plus m minus 1. The total number of comparisons that can be exactly made here is actually m plus n minus 1. M plus n minus 1. Whereas n is the size of the first array, n is the size of the second array. And this minus 1, why does this minus 1 is coming? Because Finally, when you're comparing the last two index, suppose if you're comparing last two index, when you find one index is the minimum, then the other index we are not going to make any, we will not do any checking, because when only one element is left, that element directly we will be taking as the last position. So that element we will not do any comparison. So for that one element, we are not going to do any comparison. For that, we are just subtracting -1 from here. Okay, so it's going to be exactly m plus n minus 1 in the worst case. So the sequence, the array sequence that I will take now, it's going to be 20, then it will be 24, then it is going to be 30, then after 30 it is going to be 35, next sequence is of 35, and the final sequence is of 50. So when you take first two arrays, when you have to merge it together, it will be 20 plus 24 minus 1, which is equal to it is 44 minus 1, 43. Okay, now you have an array of size 43, then you have to merge it with array of size 30. So 43 plus 30 minus 1, which is equal to 73 minus 1, 72. Then with this array 72 size, you have to be merging 35. So it is going to be 72 plus 35 minus 1, which is equal to 107 minus 1, 106. Then 106 plus next array 50, then again minus 1, which is equal to it is going to be 156 minus 1, 155. So for merging first two arrays, we require 43 plus. For merging, after merging, you have 43 element. Merging 43 with 30, you require 72 comparisons. Then taking 72 and merging 35 elements together, you will be getting 106 comparisons. Then finally, last one, when you're merging it, you will get 155. So now taking all this into account, okay, all this into account, 43 plus 72 plus 106 plus 155. So it's 376. Is there any 376? No, but 376 is the right answer. Okay, so 376 is the right answer. Keep a note on it. I will just check. Okay, I will just tell the team to rectify this. Okay, so the answer is going to be 376 for sure, because even you can just surf in internet and you can just cross verify yourself that the efficient merging algorithm will be taking n plus m minus 1 comparisons. It will be taking us what worst case. So when you're taking that logic, actually it should be 376, where answer is not here. The closest answer that we find is actually 358. Okay, but the exact answer that we are obtaining is 376. Okay, I'll just tell the team to rectify this. Okay, we'll just move to the next question. The next question is, integer a comma b is declared, then a is set to 2, b is set to 50, while b greater than 0, a equal to a mod 2 plus a. If a mod 3 is equal to 0, we are printing a, else printing b minus. Okay, fine. Okay, just okay, fine. Now just look at here. Okay, one minute. Let me just minimize this. Okay. So now let me get rid of all these things. Fine. Now, if you see, you have two variables called as a and b, where a is having 2 and b is actually having 50. Now you're checking whether b is greater than 0. I think b is 50. 50 is definitely greater than 0. So while 50 is greater than 0, we will be performing all the things inside while. So what is inside while? First statement is this is actually a and this one is actually b. Okay, now what you're doing, actually you're just doing a equal to b mod 2. When you divide 50 divided by 2, what will be the remainder? That is what mod has to give, right? So when you divide 50 by 2, there will be no remainder at all. So b mod 2 equal to 0 plus a. What is a? 2. So your new value of a, again it will be 2 only. Okay, so it is a equal to 2 again. Why a equal to 2? B mod 2, 50 mod 2, 0 plus a value 2. So both we add, again we will be getting 2, which we again initialize to a. Now we are checking if a mod 3 is equal to 0. I think 2 mod 3 will not be equal to 0. 2 mod 3, again it will be equal to 2. So the condition, if condition, is not true. So coming to else, we are printing b minus 1. What is your b value now? Your b value is 50. So first thing you have to print 49 actually. So I think that we can conclude here, because only one option where the first element is 49. See, coming to your like pseudocode, coming to predicting the output, it is not like you execute the entire logic and you find. No, it's just a smartness that you have. When you find that first element will be printed 49, then no need of thinking anything, no need of having any sort of like, see, directly you can say that only one option is having 49 printed first. Okay, so you can directly go with 49, only one. So this is definitely 49. 3 1 is going to be the right answer, because first we found that the first number which is going to be printed is 49. Okay, so go a equal to 2, b equal to 50, while b greater than 0, yes, 50 greater than 0, we enter inside a equal to b mod 2, b mod 2, 50 mod 2 is 50 is completely divisible by 2, so no reminder we will be getting. Okay, we will be getting no reminder, so it's no issues. Okay, fine. Now the next program that we are taking, which is integer a equal to okay, 1 minute. There is a lot of things that you're saying. One thing, let me see, students, let me tell you one thing. Don't consider C programming here. If a snippet is given in C programming, whatever C programming syntax will be forming, that you can use. This is a simple pseudocode which is not at all linked with any programming language. So you cannot expect that when semicolon is given, why can't the property of C comes in? No, no. This is not C language. This is a general pseudocode given. So don't look for any semicolon. Here semicolon is not at all given. Here semicolon is not at all given. Will you say that it is a syntax error program? No. This is completely a pseudocode alone. Okay, only a pseudocode is given. Okay, fine. So I think there are few people, few people, what you're saying is, okay, I'll tell you, few people what you're saying is this will actually become a infinite loop. See, actually a is getting incremented in the else part. So when a gets incremented, I think when a is increasing its value, some point of time, okay, b, okay, fine. Yes, this will be an infinite loop actually. Okay, this will be an infinite loop, but there is no option which is having infinite loop here. So that is the one thing. That's just see that this is just a simple prediction that I am doing. The first number which should be printed is 49. But yes, there is no change that we are doing to b. When we are not doing any changes to the b value, then definitely what cannot happen, this loop will never end, because b value is not changing. That also I will agree. If infinite loop is given, I could have gone with that. But since there is no infinite loop is there for this MCQ, I'm just going with 4931. So this is a direct question that we have taken, from AMCAT, from Capgemini questions only we have taken it. Okay, so there is no need to change the question, because this is a question which Capgemini has given. Okay, I don't see that, I think if infinite loop is given, then you go with infinite loop, but it is not given. So I'm just going with 49.3 and then 1. So coming to the next program, what will be the output of the following pseudocode? A equal to 3, B equal to 2, A plus B less than 7. So 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 less than 7 is a true condition. Okay, 5 less than 2 is a 1 minute. A equal to 3, B equal to 2. A plus B is 3 plus 2, 5. Is it 5 less than 7? Yes, absolutely 5 less than 7. I enter inside. A equal to A multiplied by 0, which is A multiplied, anything multiplied by 0 is 0. 0 plus B. Okay, 0 plus B will be your plus B. What's your B value? Is 2. So 0 plus 2, A value will be equal to 2. 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. 1 minute. So coming here, I think this is the one that we were actually discussing of, right? So A is equal to 3, B equal to 2, where A and B, if you add together, it will be 5. So 5 will be less than 7. So condition is true. So we will enter inside. A multiplied by 0, anything multiplied by 0 is 0. Then 0 plus B value 2. So again, your A value is equal to, 2. Okay. So I'll just tell you something. A equal to 2. A equal to 2, sorry, 3, and then B equal to 2. Whereas if you do A plus B, 5 less than 7, true condition. So A equal to A multiplied by 0, 0, 0 plus B value 2. So A will also become 2 now. Then after that, else will not be executed. Else we will not execute. So without executing else, what we're going to do is we come out of this come out of this else, and okay. I think see here, okay, else we have 4. So finally they are printing A and B plus 1 value. A is 2, B plus 1 will be 3. So 2, 3 will be the right answer for this. Okay. So because B value we haven't changed, so it remains 2. So 2 plus 1, 3. Definitely the second answer is 3. And this condition is true. So we enter inside. A equal to A multiplied by 0 is 0 plus 2. So A will become 2. So 2 and B value is 3. That's what the B value is actually 2. But B plus 1 they are printing. So 2 and 3 will be the right answer here. Okay, fine. Now coming to this question, where we have A equal to 1. Okay, where we have A is equal to 1 and then B equal to 2. Now we are running a loop for actually, like from 0 to 6, we are running a loop and we are just incrementing it by 2. That's one important thing you have to remember. So I will be 0 and after I equal to 0, you will jump 2. You will increment I by 2. So I will become 2. Then I will become 4. Then finally I will become 6. So these are the 4 values for which this loop will be running. So when I is equal to 0, A equal to A plus B plus I. Am I right? So what is A value? 1. What is B value? 2. What is your present B value is 2. What is your present I value? 0. So what will be 1 plus 2 plus 0? A will be equal to 3. The new A value is equal to 3. Remember. Again, you are doing one more thing. A equal to A plus B. A is 3, B is 2. So 3 plus 2, 5. So new A value will be 5. What is your new B value? B will be equal to A minus B. A minus B is 5. The present A is 5. 5 minus B value 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. You see that the values are changed now, right? So A equal to 5, B equal to 3. So after doing this, you print your B value. What is your B value? 3 is your B value. So you print 3. And after that, again, you go to next step where I is equal to 2. When I is equal to 2, A equal to A plus B plus I. What is the present A? 5. B, 3. 5 plus 3, 8. 8 plus 2, 10. So your new A value will be equal to 10. And what's the next one? A equal to A plus B. Your A value 10, B value equal to 3. So your next A will be equal to 13. Okay. Then finally B equal to A minus B. What is your A? 13. What is your B? 3. When you subtract both these things, what you will get? B equal to 10. So 13 minus 3, it is equal to 10. So what is your present B value? 10. So that 10 will be printed. So after 3, okay, after 3, 10 will be printed. So let us look at the option. I think for 2 options, it is 3, 10. It's matching same. For 2 options is 3, 10. Okay, we will just continue further. Next time your I will be incremented and your I will become 4. So what is your A equal to A plus B plus I? A plus B is 13 plus 10, 23 plus your I value 4. So 23 plus 4 will be equal to 27. So your new A value is equal to 27. And then again A equal to A plus B. So present B 10. So 27 plus 10 will be equal to 37. So A equal to 37. What is your new B value? B is equal to A minus B. A 37, B 10. So when you subtract both these things, you will get 27. So it is going to be B equal to 27. It's going to be B equal to 27. Yes. So now B27 will be printed. So after 10, 27 have to be printed. See, first 4 options so far, both are, like 3, 10, 27 exactly. Now we will do the last iteration. We will come to a conclusion where I equal to 6. When I is equal to 6, what is going to be our new A value? A is equal to existing A value is 37. So 37 plus B, which is 27, which is going to be totally 64. 64 plus I value is 6, so totally it is going to be 70. Then what is your new A? Then after that you are having A equal to A plus B. So 70 plus 27 will be equal to 97. Okay, A will be equal to 97. What will be your new B value? B equal to your new A value minus your B value. So 97 minus 27 will be equal to 70. So the next value that will be printed after 27 is actually 70. So here the second option, if you see 3, 10, 27, 70 will be the right answer for this particular question. Okay, next, come on. Next one is, okay, it's a little long, like a question, long question. Okay, here there is a variable with num with value equal to 85. Okay, so let us take a variable called as x, and num, and num is equal to, by default, is equal to 85, and you also take a variable count and it is equal to 0. Now x is equal to num is equal to 1. So num is just, you see, after setting 85, when now num is also changed to 1 now. So your new x value is also equal to 1. X value is also equal to 1, and our new num value is also equal to 1. Fine. Y is equal to x power num. So y is equal to, what is x here? X is 1. 1 power num 1. So 1 power 1 is 1. So y is also equal to 1. Then y is also incremented by 1. So y will be incremented to 2. Then while y divided by 2 not equals 0. Okay. So y divided by 2 not equals. Okay. So I think y divided by 2 is equal to 1, which is not equals 0. So we will enter inside. Okay. Now suppose, see here, not equals, nothing is given here. Suppose if 0 is given, whatever we will be doing now will be executed. Suppose 1 is given here, then it's completely, it is going to be different. Okay, fine. So I'll just tell that and I will just continue. Okay, fine. Now y mod 2, right? So sorry, it's not here, it is divided by 2. So y divided by 2 not equals 0. So 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. So not equals 0. So enter. So if y mod 2 not equals 0, 2 mod 2 is actually equal to 0. 2 mod 2 is equal to 0. So this condition is not true. Coming to else, y equal to y divided by 2, whereas 2 divided by 2 will be equal to 1. So y become 1. After else, again, they're checking a if condition. If, okay, I think here it has to be end if. Okay, it should be end if. Okay. So now what we have to do is, we have to again, start. Okay, we will have to again just start back again from the while actually. But here, if we see 1 divided by 2, y is 1, 1 divided by 2, definitely 1 divided by 2 whole number is 0. So 0 not equal to 0. Now the condition will become failed, then you come out. Okay, and you see here count is not even incremented by 1 because count remains 0, because this if condition is not even true for one time. So count remains 0. So coming here, what we are doing is we're just checking if of count. So which means if of count means if count is not equal to 0, but count is actually equal to 0. So this if will not be working, else will be working. Wherein else we have 1 and the value of x, which is still 1. So I think it has to be none of the mentioned option actually, because see here, 1 is first of all printed here. Here 0 is printed first of all. But here no option is having 0 and 1 finally. Even if condition is true, definitely 0 should have printed. If this else is true, then 1 should have printed. I think no option is having 1 and 0. That's a very simple logic. So that definitely none of the mentioned option have to be the right answer for this. Let us go to 6th one. Here we have a question where we have taken a string of size 10 having a lot of characters like A, I, N, D, I, A, India. Okay, fine. CH, there is another variable called CH with single character N. Now there is an integer array of size 10 and a loop variable j equal to 0. Okay. Now for loop equal to 0, str of loop not equal to null, which means we are traversing the string. Each and every character that we are going to traverse with this for loop which we have written. Starting with 0th index, we are checking whether that particular element is not null. If it is not null, you are traversing loop equal to loop plus 1. Next, we are coming and they are checking that if str of loop any one is if equal to ch, which means any character equal to n, what they are doing is they're taking integer d of, where is d actually? I think it is ind. Okay, it's ind. Okay, ind of j plus plus is equal to loop. Okay, I think this condition will be true only for n. Only one n is available. So one index. So when loop is equal to 1, this condition will be true. So in d of j plus plus, which means j0, it will increment to 1 later only. So d of 0, you are placing index 1. Okay, d of 0 equal to 1 you are placing. Then what you're doing, you're just running a loop and you're just simply printing whatever is in your loop value. Okay, so what is in your loop variable actually? Okay, what is your loop? See, only one element only be inserted inside. That to be what we inserted is index 1 be inserted, and d of j plus plus. So our what they are printing is they are printing int of loop actually. So which means it has to print 1. So 1 is the right answer because only one element is inserted. Because only one character is having n, so that character only will be assigned. For that only one character only this condition will be true. So loop is the index of that particular character where the index is 1. So that one will be inserted here in ind. So only element available in ind is 1. So if you are running a loop and we are printing it, only that number 1 will be printed. Okay, so it's here the answer is actually 1. Now coming here, what will be the output of the following pseudocode? If num greater than num2, again you are checking if, again inside that if condition you are checking if num1 greater than num3. Result is equal to num1. Else, if this condition is not true, we are taking num3. Suppose if this condition is not true, we are checking if see, this is literally very simple. This is like actually finding the maximum answer, maximum sum. Because when num1 is greater than num2 and also num1 is greater than num3, you can take num1 as a greater element. But suppose num1 greater than num2 is true, but num1 greater than num3 is not true, then definitely number 3 will be the greater element. So, okay, fine. Now, suppose if number 1 greater than number 2 is itself not a true condition, what we will do? We will take number 2 because number 1 is not greater than number 2. So, number 2 we will take and we will compare it with number 3. Suppose if number 2 is greater than number 3, we will take number 3 in the result, or else we will take number 3 in the result. So, which is literally we are finding the maximum. So here coming here, the maximum is actually 8. So 8 have to be printed, but it is not in the option. 8 is the maximum element here, but 8 is not in the answer. So we will definitely go with, like none of the mentioned option. Okay, because when num1 is greater than num2, yes, condition true, 5 greater than, condition is not true. So we have to come here for else, where num2 greater than num3, that also condition false. So come to else, num3 will be set to result will be printed. So number 3 is having 8. 8 is not here, so definitely none of the mentioned above will be the right answer. Now coming to the next question, we're going to stop with this question. Okay, we're going to stop with the question because it's already 7:57. It's going to be 8, so we're going to stop with this question actually. So the question, if you are taking that, if it is for example a equal to 10, a is equal to 10, and then it is b is equal to 20. And now you're taking a loop C starting from 10 and you're running it up to 20. So C will be starting with 10 and C will go up to 20. So C will be less than or equal to exactly 20. And C will be C will be incremented by 2, which means C will be equal to C plus 2. Okay, fine. So now initially your C value will be equal to 10. Next your C value will change to 12. Then your C value will change to 14. Your C value will change to 16. Your C value will change to 18. Your C value will change to 20. Okay, fine. Now inside the loop, what we are doing A equal to A plus B, A plus C. Okay. What is your A value? A value is 10. 10 C value is initially here it is 10. So A plus C means 10 plus 10, 20. So our new A value will be equal to 20. What is your B value? B equal to B minus A. What is B? B is 20. 20 minus A is again 20. 20 minus 20 is 0. 0 plus C 10. So our new B value will be equal to 10. So after this first iteration, our A and B value is 20 and 10. And there is one more if condition to check whether if A is greater than 10. Yes, A greater than 10. So we have to print A value. So first answer that we will be printing is 20. Okay, that first value that we will be printing is 20. Three options are printing with 20. Okay, fine. Now let us move to next one. Let us move to the next one. Next one, what we have is C equal to 12. Okay, C equal to 12. And I think B value has changed, right? B value has changed. So I think I will increment my C value. My C value will become 12. But when my C value is 12, what is here? C less than or equal to B. What is my new B? New B is actually equal to 10. So C value is actually equal to, C value is actually equal to 12, but B value is equal to 10. So I think now the condition will become false. We will not enter inside, only 20 will be printed. So option 1 will be the right answer, only 20 will be printed. The reason is because of this B value, because B value has changed here to 10 and your C value has become 12. So when C value is 12 and B value is 10, 12 less than or equal to 10 is a false condition. So you will come out of the loop. So only one time you enter, that time you print 20 and you go out. Okay, fine. So the answer of this question is actually equal to 20. Students, very shortly we will be sending you the PDF of the right answers, the question, everything we will be, sending you. Okay, so there you can actually, we will be sending you it's very shortly. Okay, so I think we are. So how the B value has changed is the one question that is coming in. You can see here. See here, B equal to B minus A plus C. Here the B value is getting changed, which means first time of entry, C equal to 10, A equal to 10, B equal to 10, 20. So your A equal to A plus C means C is 10, A is 10. So A plus 10, 20 plus 10 plus 10 is 20. So new A value of A will be 20. Your existing value of B is 20. So 20 minus new value of A is 20. So 20 to minus 20, 0. Plus C value will be 10. So B becomes 10, A becomes 20. So after incrementing your C value, C will become 12, where 12 is not definitely less than or equal to your new B value, which is 10. So your process will stop. Okay, because of this equation, your B value is actually changing. Okay, fine. Right. See, the remaining things also will be clarified. It also will be clarified in the regular sessions that you're having. Okay. I just came here for your doubt clarifying, but I started taking the session off. Okay. Because these questions are also, these questions are also will be handled in the, regular classes. Okay. So I just came here for, clearing your doubts. But you just asked me to, go through fourth test. So I also started it. Okay. I think we planned it between 6 to 8. Okay, it's time for me to stop it, and I will just ask you, the trainer who is going to handle tomorrow, let me ask them to start from the remaining questions, and let me ask them to finish the fourth test, and then let me let me do it. So they are giving wrong answer in test. No worries, that me and my team are sitting and verifying all the answers and then posting. So hereafter all the test that is coming to you will be, I think up to 4 we did not actually verify. So from all the other tests have been completely verified. So hereafter, what are all the tests coming to you are in verified state. Okay, so 2 to 3 people have verified and it will come to you. So definitely you cannot expect any wrong answers. Okay, so you also, I'll tell you one thing, you don't judge a question answer, because that might be some minor thing that might hide inside. Okay, so don't just comment on it. Okay, it's a wrong answer, it's wrong answer. Send it to our team, ask them whether it is right or wrong. If they are saying it's right, ask them for justification and proceed. That's a right way of handling things. It's not like just putting on saying that it's wrong answer. Can you justify that? That's my question. Okay, if you are ready to justify that, it's okay. But from the next test, I have personally verified all the tests. Okay, I'm verifying all the tests personally. So I think you cannot expect any questions with wrong answers. Okay. Okay, suppose if you are saying wrong answer, you can just from the person who is handling you tomorrow, you can get my number from her, and you can just feel free to call me and you can have a debate with me regarding the answers of the questions. Okay. Okay, fine. I'll feel free to speak with you. Right? Fine. If is not a loop, Sai, Lata, for is a loop, but if is not a loop, if is a conditional statement, it's not a loop. Okay, just rectify that first of all. So could you please set the explanation in exam for each question? Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will just